And he was up against a very interesting opponent from Australia, Glen Kelly, very experienced. He'd actually been in the ring as well with Roy Jones in days gone by, one of only 2 defeats he'd suffered during the course of his career. So this looked on paper to be a really tough test for Haye. Was it?
Seconds out, round 1.
This is fight number 3 for David Haye after what can only be described, and certainly was described at the time, as a shock loss to Carl Thompson way back last September in an IBO Cruiserweight Challenge. And after a couple of reasonable warm-up fights, including last time out Gary Delaney, he's in against a pretty tough competitor. There's the shorter, chunkier fellow in the blue by the name of Kelly. Not Ned, but Glen Kelly from Sydney, Australia. He's a pretty useful performer. He's won 31 of 34 professional contests. He's been in with the man himself, Roy Jones, went 7 rounds with Roy Jones, and he's the current Orient and Pacific Boxing Federation Cruiserweight champion. And you can tell by his short stature that he boxed mostly as a light heavyweight up until the last year or so. So it's Kelly in blue with those very long blue trunks of his, and David Haye looking purposeful and meaningful. And this is a huge fight for David Haye, because Kelly at the moment is ranked in about, well, 18 or 19 in the world in the Cruiserweight division, and Haye is somewhere away down in the 40s. So it's another big step up for David Haye.
It certainly is a big step up for David. David's got to box nice and cautiously, just has to keep flicking the jab, keep piling out the points, try and get these early rounds out of his system, and just see what this guy's made of, without taking any risks.
David Haye's never been past 5 rounds in his career so far. This fella's been 10 and 12 many times. Comes in off a pretty hard win for the OPBF Cruiserweight title. That was in China in August of last year. Got a unanimous decision, but interestingly, he was down to the Kenyan-based New Zealander, Peter Gateri. He was down 3 times. David Haye does like to punch, but as we saw against Carl Thompson, he punched himself out, and dear old Carl soaked absolutely everything up before dispatching David Haye in the 5th.
Well, both boxers just sparring for it means David's just being nice and cautious, not taking any chances, trying to hold the centre of the ring and just pop the jab. Got Kelly on the retreat, which is exactly where he wants him right now.
He's got to use that extra height and reach advantage against the shorter, chunkier fellow. It's good work by Haye, looking long and lean and looking very fit as always. But the big question mark has always been over his stamina, and that's what really let him down against Carl Thompson. He certainly has been working on that. He's been training particularly hard for this one, because he knows he can't afford to lose this one. That was a wild swing there from Kelly. Haye read it very nicely and countered with a good right of his own. Cautious start from Haye, but signs that he's got the skills to get this job done.
Well, it's a cautious start by both fighters. You know, Kelly's still very unsure of himself. Oh, lovely right hand, beautiful shot.
Yeah, terrific right hand by David Haye. Just feinted, showed him the left, and he brought that round the corner. And remember, this is a man who has been stopped, and he's got him in 1. What a great right hand by Haye. This could be a very impressive scalp, and I don't think... Oh, Mickey Van's having a good look at him. Well, that, had it gone on another few seconds, would have been a first-round KO by a man who's got 17 KOs in his record, and David Haye landed with 2 right hands. The first was a cracker, the second was an absolute belter, and David Haye at his most impressive.
Saved by the bell was Kelly, he really was. Haye landed a flush shot, overhand right over the top.
Well, they are very anxious in the Kelly corner, and with every justification, because David Haye put together a couple of right hands and probably would have stopped a heavyweight. What? A great piece of right hand punching by David Haye. Haye just stalking his man, moved out of the way, wonderful footwork, and down he went.
Round 2.
Haye is so heavy-handed, he really is. But he has to just still box with extreme caution now, because this guy's like a wounded animal. Doesn't want to walk into anything silly, wants to set it back up behind that jab. Not look for the knockout, because it will come if he doesn't look for it.
3 years ago, Roy Jones stopped this man Kelly in 7 rounds. And 7 months after that, Paul Briggs, who's really a light heavyweight, stopped him in 4. The only 2 defeats in his record. David Haye's threatening to stop him pretty early on if he can just maintain that sort of pressure. And there's a little look in Kelly's eye which suggests that he doesn't fancy that right hand coming across for a third and perhaps conclusive time. We shall see, but what a good opening round by David Haye. Bided his time, went for the uppercut.
Well, he's looking for that payoff punch, is David Haye. I'm not so sure right now that's the right tactic. He should go in behind that jab. There it is.
He doesn't have to worry about that. The calls come in, and Kelly has been stopped. And this is the most impressive piece of boxing Haye has produced. And Kelly is all over the place. What a finish by David Haye against a man who's rated some 30 places in the world cruiserweight rankings above him. And if there's a message to be sent out from David Haye to the 200-pound division, then it's been delivered here in Rotherham tonight. Twice down in the first. We knew that Kelly could go. He'd been down before earlier on in contest, and his last one in particular, and then Haye finished him off in the second. And this, without a single shadow of a doubt, is David Haye's most impressive performance to date, and one I think that's going to set him back up as a serious contender for much, much greater things in this cruiserweight division. This is the finish. There's that right hand. Well, Kelly's left was all over the place. His defense was nowhere whatsoever, and he knew that was going to come, and there was nothing he could do about it. What a punch, what a delivery, what hand speed, and what a result. Haye, down he went. That's the third time in 2 rounds, and as he went down, the corner decided that they had had quite enough of that, and that was the contest over. Mickey Van could do nothing but agree.
David, well done. You waited and waited, and the punches came.
Yeah, I think I've learned my lesson from the Carl Thompson fight, jumping. I think, as you saw there in my last fight, no matter what sort of situation I've got the guy in, I'm not just jumping in like an amateur anymore. I think that's the best thing to happen to me. So against a guy like this, if I'd started swinging like a madman, he would be able to catch me tonight. The guy's ranked #9 by the WBC, and he's ranked for a reason. This guy's a top 10 fighter, and that's what I wanted to do. I want to be #1 in the world, so I'm just pushing and working up the rankings until I'm #1 in the world. You know?
Well, the end started to come towards the end of the first round, where you caught him with just about your first right hand.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Bernard Hopkins, and how patient he is. I think that's definitely something that I've been working on in the gym, and it showed tonight. I think the old David Haye would have went in there and just after the first knockdown just went like a lunatic and possibly got caught with silly shots. But I'm over the moon with this fight. I've trained really hard. I was out in Tenerife, run up the mountains, and I worked on my stamina, worked on all aspects of my game. I've got a great team: Adam Booth, Jamie Sawyer, Chris Walton. Everyone at the first base gym really pushed me and really got me into the best possible physical condition. If this would have went 10 rounds, it wouldn't have been a problem. It would have been a walk in the park, you know.
Well, let's move on now to the second knockdown and the finish. And you waited and waited, and it came.
Yeah, I knew the shot would come. That's the one thing. I don't have to go looking for it. That's exactly what I've been working on. The left hook, right hand. And it worked. I don't think there'd be hardly anyone in the world, if I land that sort of punch, that could take it and come back, you know.